Hey everyone, Robert here, author of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life. Are you ready to start living your life to the fullest? Are you ready and willing to transform yourself and your life from ordinary to extraordinary? Welcome, my friends, to the Fully Engaged Life. Welcome back to the show, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I hope this really helps give you a little bit of guidance into how to put into effect all of the things that I have taught in well over 300 podcasts and in my book and programs in order to help you begin to live a fully engaged life. I was speaking with a wonderful young man recently, and one of the things that I shared with him that we need to understand is the quality of the energy around us at any given point in time. And one example of this is if we look back many decades, even the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even into the 80s, the dominant idea in those decades was to work hard in order to attain that which you desired. And at that time, people had a tendency to work harder, not smarter. In the 80s, this started to shift. And in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, in those decades, the energy shifted to allow us to work smarter and not harder. During this time period, the energy also allowed for things such as the law of attraction to manifest things consciously into our life and actually create or co-create, as the Hickses put it so well, the life we desire. So the energy allowed for that to be easier at that time. This type of energy peaked around 2012, and then it started to shift again shortly after that. And as I warned many, many times over the years, that the window to learn how to manifest, to co-create, to work with things like the law of attraction, vibration, was closing. The window wasn't going to be as wide as it has been since that window has all but closed, making it much more challenging. It can still be done. And it still is being done, whether you are conscious of it or not. It just seems more difficult to manifest many of the things into our life that was once quite easy. We are now in the energy of working smarter and harder. And this reminds me of a formula that my wife and I use in order to live a fully engaged life. This formula is simple. This is how we meet the universe halfway, which is kind of the idea of co-creating. We can't do it ourselves. We are doing it hand in hand with the universal source. But I'm referring to it in an even more practical manner. This is a bit of a formula. And this is the way my wife and I are still able to work with things such as the high vibration, law of attraction, and manifesting and co-creating the life we desire. So I'd like to share that formula with you. It's extremely simple. It is hard work plus high vibration equals the life you desire to manifest. This is the equation, the formula for living a fully engaged life. I use formulas like this to share things with even my martial arts students. And another simple formula: knowledge plus experience equals skill. If you want to be skilled, you have to have a balance, a combination of both of those ideas. So in regards to living a fully engaged life, the idea is hard work. This is the first step in the equation, right? So what is that? It means you have to be willing to work hard. You have to make the effort. And it requires a little more effort in this decade than it has previously. And that's okay. It can still be done. So my wife and I work very hard. Even back when the energy allowed for greater ease in creating your life, I was still working hard. I was putting in 12 to 18-hour days at a chemical factory, going right from there to teach and operate my martial arts school, and I'd be there for anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a night. I did whatever it took. My wife is the same way. She was going to school full-time to get her degree. She was working part-time, and she was training full-time at the martial arts school with me as well. Even though at that time we weren't together, we were living very parallel lives in regards to the effort we were making to make things happen in our life. You see, the first step to creating the life you desire is to make the effort yourself. This is how we are meeting the universe halfway. We have to do our part. We can't just sit back and wish or hope or try to conjure or do any other silly things to make, things happen because, well, how's that going for you? Yeah, doesn't work. But if you're capable of making the effort and working hard, constantly assessing your situation to see what you can do or what you might need to do to up your game, to attain your goals, you're halfway home. The other part, and the challenging part, is even though you're going without sleep many nights, you're exhausted, you're working so hard, you still manage to have a high vibration. You keep your vibration high, your heart open, and you keep your vibration, the frequency of that vibration, as a match with that which you desire. It is through this combination of working hard and holding that high vibration, even as you work hard, that allows the universe to actually work with the desire you're putting out there. See how strong you're putting that desire out there? See how powerful that is? That is a wonderful mechanism to make sure that the universe reads your intentions clearly and then starts to allow you to manifest these things into your life, bring these things to you. It's really amazing how this works, but that is the formula. So we work hard, right? We set our goal. We get very clear on what we intend to accomplish, what we want out of life, what we want for ourselves. We sit down and we write all of that out. That's very helpful, and I'm not talking typing it, I mean handwriting it, so that the energy comes from in your mind through the hand out into the paper, where it's out in the world, it's out in reality. This is in itself very a powerful thing. So we work hard. We will do whatever it takes. And at the same time, we put in the time with our practices that then allow us to open our heart, to have a high vibration, to attain things like no mind, to overcome the ego. Because all of those things, overcoming the ego allows us to hold a genuinely high vibration. And engaging in all of the various spiritual practices that allow us to work towards awakening, these things allow us to increase our vibration and to live a spiritual life, even as we're working so hard. Those two things do not have to be opposites of one another. I think, in my opinion, from my own experience, my own direct personal experience, is that That's kind of the magic in the formula. For you to be working hard and still hold a high vibration, to be happy even though you're exhausted, even though you're working so hard, even though you might not be able to do all the fun things that you would like to be doing at that moment, you keep your eyes on the prize. You keep your vibration high. This is not only beneficial for us as individuals as we go through our life, but it helps to cause the law of attraction to activate and allows us to manifest, co-creating with the universe and attaining the life we desire and becoming the person that we desire to be. In the beginning of the podcast, I ask you, are you ready and willing to transform yourself and your life? This is what I'm referring to. Are you ready? Are you ready to work hard? Are you ready to engage in whatever practices necessary in order to raise your vibration, open your heart, and live in that space of non-ego? Are you willing to put in the hard work? A lot of people are very quick to jump and say, oh yeah, I'm ready, I'm willing. But they're really not. Most are ready, but they're just not willing. This is an important part and a question that each of us must ask ourselves. Am I willing to work hard? Am I willing to up my game? Am I willing to take an honest look at where I'm at and realize that maybe this is not the job that's going to allow me to do what I need to do? How can I change that? How can I up my game? Am I willing to do all of that? Am I willing to put in the time and the effort necessary to go through all of the spiritual practices that will allow me to ultimately master my vibration, to hold a high vibration, and to consciously attract the things and people and experiences into my life that I desire to set up the way that I want to live my life. You see, it's all about, am I ready and willing to transform myself through hard work, through the practices, through holding a high vibration? Am I willing to do what it takes to transform myself? And am I ready and willing to transform my life? Am I ready and willing to work hard and do what it takes to create the life that I really want to experience? There's nothing wrong with having a life that you desire and seeking it out. It's part of how we attain our spiritual expansion, not through spiritual practices alone. They are the heart and soul of everything. Make no mistake. However, there's more to it than that. So are you ready and willing to transform yourself and your life? To leave behind the mind that is ordinary and attain a sense of the extraordinary? These are the questions we must ask ourselves, and we must be able to listen honestly to that answer. One of the things we need to understand is we all have the potential to succeed at this. However, many people will fail. Why? Because if we look at the hard work, there are people who are willing to actually work this hard. There are a lot of people who simply are not. They're just not capable of it. They can't do it, and they never will. They're not able to focus themselves this way. They're not able to set their mind to a task and then stop at nothing to attain that task. This is one of the things martial arts has of value. It helps you to create within yourself an indomitable spirit. A lot of the practices, spiritual practices, require an indomitable spirit in order for you to go through them and succeed. These aren't fluffy. A lot of these things are not pleasant, but they still must be addressed. What about spiritual practices? Again, there are people who can focus their intention and accomplish these practices, and there are many who simply cannot. So while we all have the same potential, because there is a deep creative consciousness throughout the entire universe that is equally present in everyone, in every human being. So then why is it some can and some cannot? Because of the mind. It depends on how much capability you have with the mind. The mind is either interfering with that creativity or it is allowing that creativity. This is why the spiritual practices center so much on mastering the mind. As we gain a sense of mastery over our mind, we are then more capable to align ourselves with the universe, with that source of consciousness. And the higher our vibration is, the more open our heart is, the more in tune to that guidance we have, the more we will be in the flow of things around us. And you'll know that by all of these little synchronistic signposts that pop up. This takes us back to the formula I presented. Hard work and effort plus a high vibration equals the ability to consciously co-create the life you desire. Along with that, your ability to become the person you want to be. So let me explain this yet another way. Our physical body and mind are here in this physical reality that we experience. While we are here, we have one foot in the physical world, yet we have the other foot in the spiritual world, our consciousness, our connection to Source, that which we truly are. The idea is to create a bridge connecting these two things. Now, even if you go through life completely unconscious, oblivious to anything that's going on, you are still creating the life you want. You are attracting your successes and failures. They are ours. We have to own them. Why is it happening? Why do some succeed and others fail? We have to understand that. Maybe it's that one works harder than the other. One is willing to do what it takes and the other is too easily distracted. Maybe it's that one knows how to set the ego aside and listen to the guidance of their consciousness, connecting to the universe. Maybe it's one has a higher vibration and the other person just can't quite get their vibration off the ground. Or maybe their life circumstances make it extremely difficult to do so. There are countless variables. But while we are here, experiencing physical reality in this world, that is the part of us that needs to make the effort and work hard and to focus our intention on that which we desire, including that which we desire to be. Then through spiritual practices, we are able to then set aside the ego, create this bridge I'm talking about. One of the reasons why I offered a very specific program called the Breath Bridge. It allows you to do this so that you can enter into meditative practices, meditation, mindfulness practices, and other sorts of practice that will allow you to set the ego aside, to connect to your consciousness, to the universal source, to raise your vibration, to open your heart, to have what they call awakening. Through this, we have been now tuned in to the non-physical side of ourselves, the side of ourselves of who we really are. So we can listen to that voice. We can listen to that guidance and then administer it to the physical world. It's learning how to create a balance between the two and consciously work with them both. Consciously is the key here. And this is why mindfulness practices are so incredibly important. So if you are still not the person you wish you were, you desire to be, if your life is still not going in a direction that you would like it to be, to where you can enjoy it, we have to reflect on these things. We have to look at ourselves. Am I making enough effort in the world? Am I working hard enough? And that doesn't mean working yourself half to death or anything like that. You do what you're capable of doing. You do what you have the ability to do. But the fact remains, effort must be made. Maybe I'm not making enough. Maybe I can pick that up a little bit. What about my vibration? Is it high enough, or is it having a tendency to dip pretty low? Is it all over the place? Do I have control of it? Is my heart open, or is it not so much? Maybe I need to engage in practices more diligently to make those corrections, to clear away the voice of the ego so I can hear that whisper of wisdom that comes through from my consciousness, from the source, all consciousness, to guide me, often through a sense of inspiration. Most of the time, what I observe is that people have one side of the equation and lack the other. They're either working very hard, and that can produce some results, but they lack the ability to hold the vibration and really attract the life or the type of person that they desire to be to themselves. The same from the other end. Sometimes you see people who are engaged in a lot of spiritual practices, but yet they lack the ability to actually make the effort to get anything done, to work hard for what they want. The imbalance throws everything out of whack. And then, of course, there are those people who are just not capable, or they just don't know, or they just don't want to work hard to make effort. And neither do they want to do what it takes to engage the practices to raise their vibration. They just want to bumble through life. Of course, these people generally feel that they have no control over their life, that life keeps happening to them because they're unwilling to turn that around to make sure that they are making life happen. And this is the incredible nature of living as a human being. This is the awesomeness of human nature. We all have the exact same ability. We all tune in to the exact same consciousness. It's all the same. But we have the ability to choose. We have free will. And some will choose not to do it, and others will choose to do it. We're all free to make that choice, and it is our choice. One of the other secrets to this is clarity. Make sure your choice is clear. Okay? Be clear as to what it is you desire. Be clear. Set your mind and your intention and your effort to that which you are attempting to attain. And as long as you stay crystal clear, that helps send a clearer vibrational frequency out into the universe. That also helps you stay on track because you have a clear path and goal in mind. And this doesn't mean that somewhere along the line that goal can change. Of course it can. And it will. It'll kind of mutate along a little bit, if you will, as you go through and you start to create this particular life and things. Then you look at, okay, well, where do I want it to go from here? I've been able to attain that. I've been able to do this awesome thing. Now what? Now where do I want it to go? What else would I love to experience in this lifetime? Another little secret to this, never stop learning. Read, not fiction. Read. Read books that will enrich you, not entertain you, enrich you. Stop looking for entertainment and look for enrichment. Look for growth. Learn. Learn languages. Learn something. There's all kinds of incredible topics out there. And as long as we continue to learn, we continue to grow. And this sense of growth helps in the process. It's another little secret of activation, if you will, to this type of formula. These are the things that will empower you in incredible ways and that will lead you to living a fully engaged life. This is your life. Right now, right here, right now, this is the time of your life. Don't waste it. Stop throwing it away. Focus it, embrace it, and enjoy it. This is your time. It's your moment to live a fully engaged life. Make sure to visit me at www.expansionmastery.com. Grab an autographed copy of Expansion Mastery there. Also, there's ebook. There's all kinds of blog articles. There's all kinds of things on there. Check it out. And until next time, my friends, I wish you the very best in your practices and your life. Take care.